Teach your buyer what to buy. Deliver what he wants to buy. Why are you educating him? ये सब चीजें जरूरी है. मेरे को किसी ने कहा था, देखो मैं वास्तु में बिलीव नहीं करता हूँ, मेरा है साउथ एंट्री, पर मैं कितना फिट हूँ, सब ठीक तो है. Don't fall for all this.
मैं इन्वेस्टर हूँ, मैं वहाँ जीने नहीं वाली. तो मैं अगर एंटर कर रही हूँ, वहाँ पे किचन हो, जो भी हो, फ्लोर प्लान से, लेआउट से मेरा क्या लेना देना?
भाव मिलना चाहिए ना.
हाँ, तो
भाव तो मिलना चाहिए. देखो यही तो तकलीफ है. आप जब खरीदते हो, आपका मकसद क्या है? When you are an investor, you want to buy, great. What is the purpose?
sell it at a profit.
हाँ, तो why do you make an aggressive price an important part of this deal? The deal has to be holistic. Buy something which is sellable tomorrow. Exit is important. तो आप जब बाय करते हो, आपने ठीक कहा कि मैं बेचने के हिसाब से बाय करूं, खरीदेगा कौन? Someone who is a genuine user. आपको पता है जब यूजर घर खरीदने निकलता है, हाँ, अपने फैमिली के साथ, जहाँ आपकी बीवी, बच्चे, हर आदमी एक नजरिए से वो फ्लैट देखना चाह रहा है, परसीव करना चाहता है. You know what goes on in their minds? The lady is busy thinking about all the perks she will have using her house. The man is thinking commercial. Children are thinking play area and secretiveness from their father, mother. Everybody has a vested interest. Everybody has a plan.
Yeah, but doesn't all kind of floor plan eventually sell? ऐसा सीन है?
See, eventually, the way Bombay is going because of the supply being limited, माल तो सब कट जाता है. लेकिन as an investor, अगर आप पैसे नहीं बनाओगे तो फिर क्या फायदा? You must make sure that you have a story to tell. You have an honest story to tell. Exit के लिए वो बहुत important है. Start drawing your exit from the day you plan to enter, not enter, the day you plan to enter. Price is one aspect of the deal. Price is not the deal. 100 रुपए की चीज 80 में मिल रही है, तो या तो आप बहुत पेसिमिस्ट हो जाते हो और आप समझते हो यार इसमें कुछ खलल है, या तो आप बहुत एक्साइटेड हो जाते हो, खरीद लेते हो. Too much of optimism or too much of pessimism, both are not good for your health.
So is the right, so-called right floor plan that important when I'm looking at investing in a property?
It is part of the entire exercise. It is part of the exercise you first conceptualize on a drawing board. Number 1 is price. Number 2 is floor plan. The macros price plays a very important role. Once you fit the price plan in your mind and you know that you can have judicious expectation of exit in terms of price, you also need to cater to the taste buds, to the whims, to the fancies, to the obnoxious demand of the buyer eventually. Please don't forget that when you are buying something, idea is to sell. He's pressurized by his mother, he's pressurized by his wife, she's pressurized by her husband, she's pressurized by her in-laws, her children. Whoever is the buyer, be it the male or the female, whoever is the buyer, there is a lot of influence around her decision or his decision. It's not money alone. Money is a very serious moving factor. The organic interest is created in a buyer purely by luring him towards price.
Great.
Sea view apartment available at 5 crores. Unreal. In Juhu, unreal. But it attracts you. You want to know more.
Yeah, but tell me an ideal floor plan that an first investor should look for, or tell me the basic no-nos when you look at a floor plan.
So I will today run you through a few of the critical questions or the few of the critical answers a buyer looks at when he is buying a flat. सबसे पहले is the structural floor plan. Okay. Some important things you should make sure that are part of your checklist when you are buying with the intent to exit are: number 1, when your main door opens, I'm talking purely floor plan now and nothing beyond that. I'm not talking about any science to buying the house, but pure pragmatic approach in terms of utility, okay? In terms of use of space, in terms of planning, what we say. When you enter into a house, it is only fair that you could probably enter into a foyer, which doesn't look into the house, maintaining the sanctity and the privacy of the house. These days, with the prices going high, the culture of entering into a foyer, eventually going into the living room, and conveniently parking yourself into a dining room, close to the kitchen, which is easily accessible to the dining room, and then panning out eventually into a small passage area, opening up to 1, 2, or the 3 rooms that the house accommodates, with attached bathrooms in the house for all the rooms, and if life has to have it, a powder room for the guests and the maids alike is a dream house. But these days, the prices have gone high. Redevelopment comes with its own caveats. The planning is a constraint for developers because of the statutory demands. The government now has some rules and regulations. So it's sometimes, or all the time rather, with these small plot areas, become very difficult to cut a niche like I spoke about.
Yeah.
But if you get something like this, it comes at a price. However, I will retort, it is important that if not a foyer, the house doesn't open up into a kitchen. I mean, imagine you open the door and some maid is, or the woman of the house is cooking inside. If you open the house and you have a powder bathroom, how do you do that? How do you face that? You can have a larger than life approach these days, where you open the house and there you are looking at a big dining, living area. With the dining area somewhere slightly, if not totally, privatized to naked eyes access. So a person standing on the door, maybe a guest, a courier wala, anybody who's entered is ringing a doorbell of the house and he is greeted by the door opening, should not see beyond that. If you can achieve what I said earlier, privatization of your rooms, separately cordoned in the corner, flowing very well, is very great. एक रेल रोड जैसा भी प्लान होता है जहाँ आप एंटर करते ही पैसेज आ जाता है, एक पहले हॉल आएगा, फिर एक बेडरूम आएगा, 2 बेडरूम आएगा. Avoid all of that. Those things don't sell.
Really?
Yeah, because they would usually have, every room would usually have one side open only. Okay, and why do that? If you can have a squarish overall plan, a squarish broad layout, your periphery of your house, just rub everything in terms of the internal walls in your mind when you see a plan. It's kind of squarish. It makes sense because that square allows 3 sides of opening to the entire house. So that is a good plan for starters. By virtue of that, very close to rectangular square or square plan usually allows you all the liberties I have discussed. All the builders aim to try and get that privacy to the rooms, a little secluded from the doorway, kind of knitted together, maybe one guest room somewhere else, which is okay. But by and large, the living, dining, kitchen as one big part of the house and the bedrooms as a separate part.
Is privacy a big ask when people look for?
See, the current pricing, we don't want to use the space in, compartmentalizing the house these days. Builders want to optimize every foot they are selling. They are trying to fit in 2 bedrooms in 600 and 3 bedrooms in 900 these days square foot. And these luxuries are now difficult. But I would still want to invest in a well-planned and a balanced layout. I don't want to, like I said, these were the macros which every household looks for. On the scheme of things, when you see it on the map, on the plan, a judicious bedroom. Let us talk about buying a 2-bedroom hall. A judicious hall in a 2-bedroom hall should be around say 200 square foot, and each of the bedrooms should be about 150 square foot. And then we have 2 bathrooms at about 35 odd feet, and then a kitchen close to 80 feet. Collectively, this house pans out anywhere between 625 to 675 square foot is a good size to trade. Yeah. Because you may get excited by taking these 500 square foot, 600, 550 square foot 2-bedroom halls, but they may find difficulty in bumping it off later.
What about your floor height? How important is that?
Once we have done all of this, think of it as you being the user, a height which is higher than the predominant 8.5 feet clear. That is from floor to ceiling clear 8.5 is bare minimum you need to give. But anything in and around 10 feet makes the house look larger. The end user doesn't understand this in terms of feet.
Yeah.
But when you enter a house which has a 7-foot door in a 9 feet ceiling height, vis-a-vis 8-foot door in a 10 feet ceiling height, is a more exciting proposition as you enter. The person who's buying has 90% emotion and 10% real estate intellect because he's an end user, right? He is buying out of emotion. Children, for his wife, to prove himself that he has done something great. But as I said, intelligence is what you need to have as an investor. He doesn't. His emotional quotient should be satisfied. And that is how it is satisfied.
What about the view?
These days it's difficult to be very...
no, I'm not talking sea view and
garden
view. But
I'm
what
just
is
saying
the
skyline view, clear view, unobstructed view. These days it gets difficult because आजू-बाजू में buildings होती हैं and every building is rising at the same level. So you do have situations where a certain room may be having peeping toms from other buildings or you peeping into theirs. That is something which is Bombay's apathy and you have to live with it. But by and large, if you are fortunate if you spot some dead walls of the neighboring building, you have a 40-50 feet distance between the two buildings and then there is this dead wall. Sometimes you're fortunate कि सामने वाले building का garden आपको आ जाता है before you hit the concrete structure of the neighboring building. If those be the case, they are USPs. So finding elevated living and all that comes with a cost. And as an investor, it should not drive you at all. I would rather buy something on the lower floors at a cheaper price than going for the penthouses. So suddenly, a 2-bedroom hall on the lower floor vis-a-vis a penthouse of a full floor or a duplex floor upstairs is going to be a bigger ticket for you. Try to be in the middle class. You have a broader spectrum with client base. हमने माल काटना है. We are not here to show off. We are here to sell material which you intend to buy. Why lose the customer database?
How important is the kitchen layout?
So like I said, when the buyer is buying, he is emotionally buying. He is zero intelligence or rather 10% intelligence. He is price conscious. If you attract him with your price, then he is plan conscious. Kitchen is a very important thing from the lady's perspective. She wants a fairly sized kitchen. That is not necessarily a big kitchen, but she will want a kitchen which has 2 platforms so that she knows that the triangle of the fridge, the gas and the sink, these are the 3 things that make a kitchen. बाकी तो ठीक है आपको हांडा बर्तन ये drawer में वो drawer में चम्मच मसाले, but the 3 core things a kitchen is made up of is the refrigeration area, the gas stove area and the sink area. They called it the kitchen triangle. If that fits appropriately and you have space around you and the maids working around the kitchen without any problem, she is all right, or whoever's using the kitchen is all right. For me, a 2 platform is a must because I can lure the women of the house by this one sales pitch. They straight away go to the kitchen. All my career, I've understood that the lady of the house comes straight away, goes into the kitchen, right? So that particular kitchen must have
enough legroom.
These days, coming back to beyond the kitchen, if we manage the height, a decent kitchen close to the dining area. I can't have the kitchen here and the dining somewhere else, where you have to pass through the living room to serve someone and pick up the used juices, oil utensils back to the kitchen. That's not happening. So these days, if you see it as a broad square, you have a rectangular living, then you have an L-shaped dining, and then the balance area completes the square with the kitchen over there. Open or closed kitchens don't matter, but the open kitchens do give you a lot of comfort in terms of sizability. Thoda bada lagne lagta.
I thought open kitchen people might be a bit wary of.
Always. They are always very wary. So that is one big no-no from the ladies' angle. But from the visibility angle, the living room looks a little more spaced out. So when they are nuclear families, when you have smaller houses you are trying to market, you are trying to invest in, you can look at open kitchens. That makes the house look bigger. But once you get into the plush environment, the higher middle class area where you're having a 1200 foot 3-bedroom and all, you better have a good kitchen, because that family has the bucks and they will not be wanting to come.
And is kitchen the most important room in the house?
Not really. Every room has its own importance, but the kitchen is a make or break situation if the woman doesn't like it. And then it comes to the living. The man always wants a big living. He's always seeing this as his the pomp quotient, right? His validation. So he will be wanting guests.
First impression, na?
He wants guests there.
Yeah.
He is visualizing the house in terms of 4 of his friends coming, watching a cricket match. This is typically how we as middle class think. And how will he fare in front of them when he designs this house? So when he is visualizing his first, like the woman's first insight is kitchen kaisa rahega, he sees how the living is shaping up. That is why these days you see that the developers are very ambitious about making good livable living rooms, bigger size living rooms. Enter very pompously inside. So you are lured by that initial oomph. But do not get carried away by that. Once you have this spec sheet matched, doesn't mean that you are in it. Please make sure that living room has some amount of size. It has to reflect parallelly and in a balanced way on the bedrooms as well. Most of the flats today, after the living room becoming nice and big, having a dining area, probably a powder room, compromise heavily on the bedrooms. At the end of the day, the bedroom is the place where you're going to spend maximum amount of your time. So practically it should be in ratio proportion to the living areas. The living area should be about 250, 60 square foot of the dining area, 80 to 100 feet of kitchen. To top it, there should be a 150 square foot room, because 20 feet, almost 20 feet go into the wardrobes, right? A 30 feet for a queen and a 36 square feet for a king bed eventually goes away out of the floor on critical things which you need to put there. The side tables inclusive, your bed and wardrobe almost hit about 70 to 80 square foot of space, even in a modest bedroom. So you need to thoroughfare in that bedroom. You need to walk around it to have decent amount of space for the other things you need to live with. So yes, a 150 square foot bedroom is good. A children's bedroom is compromised by 10-15 square foot. Doesn't matter. It will help you achieve the price point, keep yourself in check on the price point. But this is by and large what it should be. 110 feet is not a bedroom. Please understand that, especially in these coveted areas which I talk about. So you need to have 150 feet. You need to have 140, 40 feet for the children's room. And that makes you a complete 2-bedroom as a good investment. Price aside, the planning becomes fantastic with this. If you have a powder room thrown in, it is the USP modern age families look at now.
What about the powder room? It is a new, is it the new rage? Is it a fad? Or are people expecting a powder room nowadays? Or is it something that the builders throwing in just to make it seem more fancy?
So the whole world used to revolve around pricing, like you said. Ki agar sasta price mile, to who cares if I go to the kitchen? But that that no longer is the norm. Everybody, including the children, because the children are maturing much more faster than in our age back in time, they want their privacy, right? ये privacy वाले lessons have become very serious. And generally क्या होता था कि parents would have an attached bathroom and children का bathroom used to be out in the more accessible area. तो guest आता है तो भी वो bathroom use करे, children को भी अपने room से बाहर निकल के passage की तरफ वही bathroom use करना है. वो back in time चलता था. Children were not that demanding. They were not even so privacy savvy. But these days with these gizmos, machinery, laptop, TV, movies, everybody having access to so much social media, everybody wants to, and the others should respect their privacy. I have a girl child. Why would I want her to come out to use her bathroom? She should have an attached bathroom. But that means when your guest or your maid in the house have to use the bathroom, the toilets, they need to either access my room or my child's room. Not happening these days. So a powder room is genuinely a practical concern, a need more than a luxury these days. So a powder bathroom really wins hearts when your sales pitch is on. A flat without a powder bedroom would, end of the day, be not more than 20-25 feet bigger. But if you have planned for it, the builder has to plan the ducting and the plumbing, etc. around that. It becomes a little bit of a challenge. But if we can throw it in, if your plan does have that, it is a seller. The next most critical things these days are beyond this, and they are Vastu and Numerology.
Yeah.
Vastu these days has taken a very dynamic tone. We have been living in a very complex society. Suddenly, right from the food intake, ये सही है, ये गलत है, ऐसा नहीं होना चाहिए, वैसा नहीं होना चाहिए, this will take toll on you, this will take toll on you, this will become cancer, this will lead to a heart attack, to the science of Vastu, which I also respect. It is taking toll on people's heads. It is very difficult to comply to the micros of this Vastu in Mumbai city. I've already told you that the plots are small, the planning is difficult. So, but basic things as an investor, you must see that at least your entry is in the right spot. Anything moving southeast, southwest, south side is not exciting to the end user. Moving out into the south, southwest is not very exciting. Most certainly avoid that. Do not invest in such a situation. You rather pay a little more, because again, everything and anything that contracts your database of potential buyer, don't do it. You make sure that before the property you have enough on the table to make sure that you have the whole panning of that demanding middle class to fit into your unit.
Whether you believe it or not, you must make it as viable as possible.
देखो, when you are an investor, आपको सस्ता मिलता है, maybe आप सोचते हो ले लूँ.
Yeah.
Imagine if you are say doing the same thing to buy your flat. You know what you will say? ठीक है ना यार, मेरे को वास्तव में believe नहीं है. लेकिन what is the harm if I can buy a north facing or a west or east exit or a north exit or a west exit rather than a south exit? They say no, तो क्यों buy करे? So don't do that. Make sure that compromise on floor height, for example. मत जाओ ऊपर higher floor में, नीचे ले लो, लेकिन ये वाला लेना बहुत जरूरी है. You rather make sure you're in line. Don't teach your buyer what to buy. Deliver what he wants to buy. Why are you educating him? ये सब चीज़ें ज़रूरी है. मेरे को किसी ने कहा था, देखो मैं वास्तु में बिलीव नहीं करता हूँ, मेरा है साउथ एंट्री पर, मैं कितना फिट हूँ, सब ठीक तो है. Don't fall for all this. Doesn't work. Please stick to the Vastu plans. Numerology is an important thing. If you see Far East Asia, maybe 8 number is a taboo. 4 number is a taboo. It works here as well. 4 का total flat number, 8 का total flat number. Not that अभी बेचारा बिल्डर बनाना बंद कर दे, उसको तो बनाना ही है. लेकिन कईयों को ये नहीं सूट करता है. You might be one of those जहाँ numerologist आपको बोलेगा, basis your birth date and your numerology structure, 8 number is very good for you. ऐसा भी होता है. But as an investor, when you buy something like this, you're limiting your potential data only to those people जिसको numerology कहती है 8 number आपके लिए ठीक है. But what about the other 10% of the people who think numerology 8 number ठीक है? What about the other 90% who ठीक नहीं है? You have eliminated them by default. So why get out? Any and every decision that contracts your potential database must not be touched. Those have to be, those units have to be crossed. So numerology wise also, a 9 number, a 3 number, a 6 number, they really sell well. So I have been a typical superstitious person as far as these go. I'm not superstitious, I want to pamper the superstitious. My totals are always, my flat number totals are always 369. They are the easygoing numbers. People want to take them. Not too much of caveat attached to them.
But if I were to ask you to rank these priorities: floor plan, kitchen sizing, floor height, numerology, vastu, powder room, which takes the biggest, which comes on number one?
Number
Most
one is
important.
definitely the floor plan. Definitely
Huh.
the floor plan. I have explained to you all of that floor
Yeah.
plan requirement.
Then
Height plays an equally important role. Anything about 9.5 feet makes the house presentable, approachable. The outlook becomes larger than
Yeah.
life, in spite of the plate being as normal as any other. You know?
Yeah.
आप 700 फुट का 2 बेडरूम और 8.5-9 फुट में देखो और उसको 10 फुट में देखो, वो 700 का 800 850 लगने लगता है.
Yeah.
When you entrance only makes it magnanimous. Anything
Yeah.
that's high ceilings look nice. For me, floor plan is very important. And then with an immediate photo finish next, it is Vastu. It is very important. Vastu and numerology combined. And it's not in-depth thing, just entry exit.
basics. Huh.
Yeah, just the entry exit, thoda kitchen related. And finally, most important is the, numerology.
Yeah.
369, I'm not going to concentrate and get into the micros, but 369 हो तो ठीक है. ये difficult नहीं है मिलना.
Has there been an experience where your floor plan was not good enough, but because the numbers were okay, it has been sold?
No, there is roadblock on both the things, and situations do crop up. That is what I'm saying. अगर आपका floor plan अच्छा है, numerology अच्छी नहीं है, वास्तु अच्छा नहीं है, तो उड़ जाते हैं. Someone in the family, like the ladies, will tell the husband, छोड़ो सस्ता है तो क्या हुआ, मत लो. The floor plan is not good. The hall is a little compromised. Rooms are tight. The family says, छोड़ो ना, ये थोड़ा बड़ा नहीं लग रहा है, छोटा लग रहा है. So they become deal breakers. Why even rock the boat and make it unpleasant for even one single member of the potential buyer family? Give everybody what they want and everything will be fine. So, और आपको तो ढूंढने निकलना है. That's what investment all about, right? You just don't go randomly and pick up stuff and just, price, plan, Vastu numerology, all put together modestly, make a conducive and a holistic plan and buy. So then you'll be fine, at least as far as bumping the property goes.
The next podcast we will talk about what amenities the builders give and which ones really make the cut and do.
Which is very important. Yeah, that is also a very, very important aspect of modern age in Mumbai. I will touch base on all of those aspects from the commercial and the aesthetic angle. And I'm going to meet you soon on this one. Thank you so much.